You're not videoing, right?
Yeah, I am. But go ahead. No, go ahead. Just sit down. Yeah.
I thought this was your thing here.
I got a new angle on my camera from the side here.
So are we talking or no?
If you want.
What's that?
If you want to.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking because I can concentrate better if I don't.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't matter.
You can edit out anything that I'm saying anyway, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Put music in.
Unless
I
it,
didn't want to.
unless it's funny or weird, then I'll leave it in.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's gonna be
Okay,
edited.
I'm not going to say anything because I
Yeah.
don't know if you're serious or not. It's cooler over here.
Yeah.
It's not just you guys.
Yeah, you
You
guys
can
are.
edit that part out.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I said if it was weird, I'd leave it in.
Oh, shucks, that's right.
Yeah, you're crossing the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're crossing the line there, son. All I've been doing today is spalling rock.
It's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah.
Did you buy it all, or did you bring it in?
No, my buddy Lauren.
Okay.
Him and I do a lot of rock hunting at this ranch up in near Abilene area.
Yeah.
And he says, man, I got too much of that stuff. I got to get rid of it. So I'll buy some from you. And Lauren is such a generous person. You don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
You know, he was going to bring it here and just give it away for free. And I said, Lauren,
No, it's mine.
Finders keepers.
Lauren, no. You charge something.
Yeah.
I just want to get. He was ready to dump it in Lake Fort Phantom or something, you know. And I'm like, don't do that, you know. And I didn't want to say I'll take it because I got too much of my own rock. Just bring it here, sell it. He's been making a good penny off of it. So I've been spalling rock. So I'm spalling rock for him. So I got a nice big old nodule like that. So that's my plan there.
Okay.
Have you messed with it?
I haven't messed with the one. I've been spalling rock for him.
Small pieces.
Huh?
Small pieces. Oh, big pieces. I heard a couple slams.
That was me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That was me taking off freaking, 2-foot slabs. That didn't surprise me.
I heard some of those hits, they had a lot of power in them.
Yeah, that was little old me. I've been changing my spalling game this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got that. We've been going out to this ranch, and on this ranch are these Indian camps, and one of them is a paleo camp. And we found And I remember, Pat, I remember you studying Levallois techniques.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking, well, these look a lot like Levallois.
Yeah.
And I'm, no. So I've been doing my own studying, sure as heck. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are saying, no, there's no Levallois here.
Right.
So I didn't really understand what I was looking at. And I couldn't find any large enough rocks to replicate it. I wanted to see, are these, because there were spalls, I mean, beautiful flat spalls.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And these turtle-shaped, tortoise shell-shaped cores were just everywhere. Like tortoises coming out of the ocean, like on National Geographic, the way their eggs on the beach. That's what it looked like. And there was so many of them. Some are used, some I have used swear, but most don't.
Yeah.
What are they using them for? First thought was they're cores. But I want to replicate that, so before I go, yeah, these are cores, you know what I mean. I want to try it out. Finally, I get large enough nodules to actually try it out, because these guys are big. These are like 8-pound cores. And sure enough, yeah, I ended up with the exact same spalls the old boys are using. So now I'm incorporating that into everything I do.
Okay.
And so that's what I was doing over there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's up my, that has upped my spalling game dramatically. Learning from the old boys.
Sweet.
But do you know, I want to pick your brain for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, in my research, I'm finding mention of a CAPS technology out of Georgia or Alabama or something like that is similar to Levallois.
Okay.
I know that Levallois is, they found it in Africa, all over Europe, and from what I understand, only in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. Georgia's the exception.
Georgia is the exception.
Yeah.
They call it CAPS.
Okay.
But I haven't found any, all I've heard is the name CAPS, and it's similar to Levallois.
Okay.
But anyway, but what I'm finding in this, and I was fortunate enough to where I was able to collect all of these specimens of these cores.
Yeah.
And everything is, you know, with all the different methods that they use for centripetal and
Right.
biflaking and all that. I studied it before.
Yeah.
And it's all the same thing. How old is that here in North America? Do you know? I mean, I've heard it was supposed to be Clovis or pre-Clovis. Is that true, or is it something that you think archaic people could have come up with?
As far as Levallois,
Yeah.
or something similar.
Pardon me?
Something similar to Levallois.
Yeah.
They call it dome and plane.
Dome and plane. Yep, that's
And
right.
Folsom points, or the ultra thin Folsom blades, exhibit the dome and plane strategy, which is similar or a more advanced technique than Levallois, but it's the same thing.
Right.
Dome and plane. Make a dome like a turtleback and plane it off.
Yeah.
So that's been around forever in North America, at least, since the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So these cores are like 10 inches across.
Yeah.
And they're really thick. And basically the only reason why they abandoned them was either they got the rock that was on the outside that was better, or if there was internal cracks.
Okay.
But just fascinating that, because we go into other parts of more recent, you know, later in the archaic stuff, you don't find it there.
Yeah.
We only find it in the paleo camp.
Okay.
The old timer said, I found a Clovis point in this camp, and my buddy just found a plain view
All right.
right near that camp. And we have found, geez, I didn't find a polyhedral core, but I did find pieces of one that was probably destroyed when they did remove the tabular to replenish the platform.
Well, just just so you know, you probably know this already, but not all Clovis sites are the same as far
Right.
as
Oh.
strategy.
This appears to be more of that dolman plane
Yeah,
thing with some blade, Clovis type blade things. But I'm also learning that they didn't just take Clovis blades off polyhedral blade core either.
yeah,
They'd take it off of biface if they could.
yep.
So with that old timer saying, yeah, I found a Clovis point here, or 2 Clovis points here, and with that very large bifacial flaking technology that they're using that we're not seeing in any other parts of the camp, I can't help but think maybe this goes back in time. You know?
Yeah, that
Interesting
strategy.
stuff.
That strategy goes back a long ways.
Yeah,
The dolman plane.
you're right. That's because you can strike it from multiple directions.
Yeah,
You're setting up platforms on a 3D scale.
and it's an outgrowth of the natural shape of the stone too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most stone is not tabular, so you're gonna dolman plane it no matter what you do. If it's roundish, you know what I mean. It all comes down to that. It works a lot better if you like zigzag the edges and then pop the turtle back off. That's the dolman plane.
Yeah.
So the plane is the flat after you remove the dome. You know what I'm saying? Then you go, once you can do that on both sides, to get it thinner, you got to nap around the edges again and change the edges a little bit, and then you plane it again. So it's an efficient strategy. It goes way back into the origins of the migrations from Asia all the way back to Africa. You can see that they like to take off large flakes from a relatively small core.
I've found cores that exhibited that behavior that were only as big around as a freaking silver dollar
Yeah.
or less.
Yeah.
And they were just removing little tiny flakes. And they were quartzite.
Okay.
Like, why? That's what I was thinking. And what, it must be a little ads or something. And maybe, I don't know. But it's just something that only seeing that. I haven't seen any of them in any books, in any literature, no photographs, nothing. No mention. Except of maybe 1 or 2 brief mentions. I think Thomas Hester mentioned one, and a paragraph in some article where he says they're likely pre-Clovis. But that's the only thing I can find on them. Very brief description, like, oh, okay, these are blah, blah, blah.
Now, a lot of those little tools are used to scrape bark off of wood, especially young branches, young shoots. There are many uses for bark, not just not just for
I've
smoking.
lost my teeth with them.
Yeah, well, you can smoke bark, as a tobacco.
Yeah, I know you, man. Yeah.
You can also use it as a tannin, or get the tannins out to tan hides. Some of them provide different colors to dye the hides as well. Barks have been used for poultice. You can mash it up and apply it to a wound. So the tools to remove bark are very similar, and they're just a flake with a relatively 90-degree edge on one side.
Yeah.
So those go way back. And you can, not only trees provide useful bark, but there are many weeds and plants and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a tool that I picked up off like a first flake or secondary flake removal from a core that had multiple very large spoke shades wrapped into it, probably using vertical punch that are almost 90 degrees, would you swear?
Yeah. Okay.
And that makes sense because those would get machined.
Yeah.
Stripping bark.
Right.
Which is what this has.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Now I'm happy I ran into you. I was kind of debating.
Yeah.
Now I'm just ecstatic.
Cool. And they're luckily we're able to preserve textiles more easily as time goes on. We can, once we find textile remnants in the soil, they're less susceptible to degradation once they dig them out. They've got chemicals now they spray on them or soak the soil
As they're taking them out.
as they're taking them out to solidify and stabilize them. So they just take them out in big chunks with the dirt and everything. And then they analyze the fibers, and a lot of the fibers are bark fibers for clothing. So, so not just skins were used.
Wow. That explains this tool. It's large, nearly the size of my hand.
Yeah.
And it has like a large graver tip. It's something you could actually use to cut. I mean, I could see myself using it to cut a slit down a piece of bark.
Yeah.
And then strip that off with the scope shape part. That's likely like a 90-degree. Oh, that was punched in. It was punched. It appears to be punched in. A vertical punch.
And when processing materials to make baskets, for instance, you have to remove bark in many cases.
Yeah.
And you also have to split the wood. So you use stone wedges in that shape where it's thick on one side and thin on the other side to split the wood to make basketry and containers and stuff like that. So lots of uses for little tools like that. That most people say, well, they're butchering tools.
Yeah,
But,
it didn't look like butchering to me. I figured they were using it as a spoke shape or something.
yeah.
But that makes total sense. You know, it's a lot of times when I go out there, you know, I only have access to it through a buddy of mine who likes to go out there hunting for arrowheads. He goes out right after it rains, there's mud everywhere. So I'll pick up a spall or something like that, thinking, oh, it's just a spall. I'm going to pick one up and see what I can nap out of it. Only to find that it's a tool that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And that was one of those. I had no idea what it was until I got to link it up.
So to go further down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
the fact that I'm in Vermont now allows me to grow a lot more plants and stuff.
Oh no.
So
I know what's coming next.
yeah. Well, I grew a couple of mullein plants, or I let them grow up in the yard.
Yeah.
The lower leaves tend to die off and get rotten, but if you harvest them before they die off, the plant is actually more healthy. And you can use a flake, trim off all the lower leaves on all these plants that let's say you've allowed to grow. Back in the day, the hunter-gatherers would also try to tend certain areas, pull out weeds, so forth, and let only the desirables grow. And you just trim the lower leaves or the tender leaves from the top, and you can eat those. So they use tools like this to gather edible leaves, and also to weed the plot too, to get rid of all the undesirables. It's much easier than just pulling, and it's healthier for the plant. Like I can pull the leaves off the bottom, I can pull the little tender leaves off the
Yeah,
top.
but you're leaving an injury.
It's not as efficient as if you.
Yeah. It's not as efficient. And you want that plant to continue growing. If
Yeah.
you tear it.
You can actually pull the whole thing up by the roots.
Yeah. I was at my parents' up in Michigan this summer, and they had mullein growing.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time. I thought I want to harvest some of this stuff, but I didn't have time to sit there and do any research and just doing stuff.
Yeah.
Helping my parents. But, yeah. What I need to do is do some research before going over there.
Do some stone tool gardening.
Walk in the place like I know what the heck I'm doing, and just start harvesting mullein and say, hey, guess what's for dinner?
Yeah. Well, I think I left out the part that the mullein was the one that I was taking the lower leaves off of, but it was the lamb's quarters I was taking the top leaves off. Lamb's quarters is an edible weed, and it tastes a lot like arugula. And so and they're very easy to propagate.
Yeah.
And then if you look at especially Neolithic sites in Europe, the whole sites are covered with this lamb's quarters plant. So that they would actually intentionally cultivate it, even though they weren't farming back in those days.
Yeah.
They did cultivate certain plants, and one of them was lamb's quarters.
Intensive gathering.
Intensive, yeah, selective.
We got this patch over here. We don't really grow it, but that's where it is, and that's where we get it from.
Yeah, it's favoritism.
And we're gonna we know how to prune the plant to where it grows bigger.
Yeah.
That's the only place we're gonna do it. We don't really plant it just grows there wild.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I do in my backyard with amaranth.
Okay.
I don't cut my grass until the amaranth is really thick, and I go out there and I harvest a bucket full of amaranth, and then I cut the grass. It grows right back again.
Yep.
My neighbors are like, up pulling weeds in her front yard, and I go, "What are you doing?" I just yelled at her, kind of like I was upset. Of course I wasn't. What are you doing? Well, he's like, "Look, that's amaranth."
Yeah.
You don't just pull it. That's like better than spinach. Oh, I don't mess with that kind of stuff. Well, you should.
Yeah. And weeding is much easier when you have a stone tool.
Yeah. So is using stone tools. Using stone tools is easier to use when you got stone tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that bark thing. I'm gonna take a closer look at that tool. I can picture it.
If it's got a sheen to it, then you know it's probably used on a plant. Because the plants contain silica in many cases.
Yeah, I need to look at it. It seems like about a year or so ago, I saw a sheen on it, but I didn't really, I got, you know how it is. You got so many. Okay, yeah, that's what that is. All right, good on shelf. I might even have a picture of it.
So what you do is you can get a sheen with silica on silica, just like taking the flake and going like this. And if it matches what you're seeing on the edges, they're probably harvesting some kind of plant that contains a lot of silica, like reeds, for instance.
Yeah.
The skin of a reed has a lot of silica in
I
it.
see some where the edges are kind of like micro fractures, like step,
Yeah.
and they're rounded. I get a root on it, and they're rounded,
Okay.
like they've been rubbed on something, where there's no sharp edges on it.
Yeah. Have you done much research on the tobacco culture?
On the tobacco culture? No.
Various tribes have different tobacco cultures. Different plants were considered their tobacco. It was not all the same.
Right.
Although a lot of tribes did copy each other. So in certain areas, certain tobaccos grow better than other areas. There's various wild nicotine producing plants. And if you start researching the tobacco culture and how important it was, it doesn't seem like it'd be very important, but it was extremely important in many cultures. And the harvesting tools and the processing tools can sometimes get mixed up with butchering tools and stuff like that for tobacco. Yeah. And there's ceremonies where you leave a little bit of tobacco if you gather something. It's a trade-off, So. I'm trying to remember a thing that I was reading. But it's pretty common to leave that tobacco offering when you take something from the land.
Right.
So tobacco is not only for smoking; it's for offerings.
For offering.
So that whole process of gathering and then offering is also accompanied by stone tools, you know, for the processing and all that. And not just any stone tool sometimes could be used to do that because it had to be special.
It had to be a certain type of stone.
Yeah. And that's
Made of
what-
a certain material.
Yeah.
Made in a certain way.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that. That's ritualistic like.
Yeah, ritualistic. There it is. Yeah. So what seems like would be a trivial item that you can't understand why it's made of such a nice material, like alabates. There's a lot of tools that seem to be utilitarian made of alabates, a very decorative type of stone, and it's just a scraper.
Yeah.
But it might not just be a scraper for just anything.
It could be a scraper used for, who knows, an article of clothing for a special occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also rituals around birth where you need a special knife to cut the umbilical cord, for instance. Then you'd bury the placenta somewhere, and you have special ceremonial accoutrements along with the burial of the placenta, right? So what seems to not make sense for anything else starts to make sense for other things. You know, there are other uses for stone tools besides
Yeah.
hunting and
Besides
butchering.
survival.
Yeah.